Put this in the chat real quick. If you haven't signed up, sign up. If you haven't signed up, sign up now. John! What's up, John? John Campea is here. It's the biggest by far opening for a Thor movie yet. John Campea is 100% right. It is the biggest for a Thor movie. The question is, will it hold like Thor Ragnarok did? And this is a question I'd love to hear John Campea go over, if he hasn't already. Because right now, we have a worldwide opening of $302 million for Thor 4, well, Thor Love and Thunder. We just came off Multiverse of Madness, which had a $450 million worldwide opening. So when you compare those two directly for these recent Marvel releases, these recent big ticket Marvel releases, it's a 33% drop off. The real question is going to be, how will the hold be? Because if the hold tracks the same way as Multiverse of Madness does, this second weekend, 67% drop off for Multiverse of Madness. If that holds, then that means this Thor movie would be looking to make much less than Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok made what, $850 million, right? Right around there worldwide. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not. But also made $112 million in China. So if you take that tracking, if you assume it might track similar to Multiverse of Madness, as opposed to what it did with the good hold with Thor Ragnarok, then you're looking at a total box office at the end of its run of closer to $700 million. And with a $250 million budget for Thor Love and Thunder, as opposed to $180 million for Ragnarok, that means this movie has to make $600 million, maybe a little more to break even. So I think that it's a very disappointing box office, especially considering just a month ago, you had people predicting a $200 million domestic weekend for Thor Love and Thunder. 143. They got a lot of work to do. We'll see how this second weekend hold is. But shout out to John Campea. Good to see you here, buddy. I agree, legs are something we have to keep our eyes on, but for now, it's the biggest opening franchise history. And you say it disappoints? I will say this, John, I thought, even though I hated the movie, I thought that legitimately this would do Multiverse of Madness numbers, 180, 185. That's where I thought that this would come in. I'm shocked it's only at 143. I'm even more shocked it's only 302 worldwide. So that's all I'm saying. I think it's disappointing. I would even say that considering what the box office predictors were saying just a month ago, 155 on the low end, $205 million on the top end, that it is a disappointment. But I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks. Good to see John Campea in the chat, though. Thank you for the super sticker, buddy.
This is a huge success for Thor Love and Thunder and Marvel.
Yeah.
Massive success. I saw a couple of people online trying to put, because they're Marvel haters, and they try to put as much of a negative spin on everything. Thor 4 box office disappoints. It's the biggest opening in the franchise's history. What the fuck are you talking about? No, it does not disappoint unless you're a moron.
Man, listen, I fucking said this was going to happen. I said that Thor was a disappointment that opening weekend because it was going to have a massive drop. Some people didn't want to believe it. We got to talk about this because this is officially fucking horrific. It's at 700 million worldwide. What are you talking about? It's not at 700 million worldwide. It's at 500 million worldwide. It's not at 700 million. That's just not true. That might be its projections. Here, let me show you guys. Thor 4 box office nears 500 million globally. It's just not the case, guys. I don't know what to tell you. There wasn't a magical $200 million that got dumped into this movie. So either there's a glitch on Box Office Mojo or something. I think they might have made some sort of error and tried to put like whatever the worldwide was, maybe before the updates. That's not a real number. How do we know those headlines are false? Because I can show you everything else that number is not correct. Here's Thor Love and Thunder. There's the international box office. You're telling me that somehow in a day, somehow miraculously, this number turned into what, $200 million more than that? No, it's just not true. This is the wrong number. That's a falsehood. Thor Love and Thunder brought in 46 million, trouncing the competition, bringing it to 233 million domestic and 498 million worldwide. This is some sort of error. This is some sort of problem in what they're tracking. This is such a clear and obvious mistake. If there's anybody that thinks they're worth something in the movie industry, they would immediately recognize there's no way that this thing is at 700 million. It just doesn't make sense. It's simply an error. But you know, there's gonna be people that try to run with it because it fits the narrative that they want to put out there, and it's pretty sad. Here we are, and we've dropped 68%, just like I fucking said. Literally, just like I fucking said would happen. It's dropped 68%. That's why you have to take these things into consideration. That's why you can't just sit there and say, well, it's the best Thor movie ever. That means it's an absolute win. Not exactly. If you're only 15% outpacing Thor Ragnarok, but it costs 40% more, you better wait until you crown some achievements on Thor Love and Thunder. A lot of people didn't want to wait for that. A lot of people have made fools of themselves. I do appreciate John Campy coming into my chat. He made this big compilation video about going to YouTubers' chats and super chatting them, and they were just like so excited to see him. It's weird that he didn't include mine in there. It's all right, buddy. I mean, I wish I could say I didn't know it would turn out this way, but obviously I fucking did. I laid out literally exactly all the reasons a week ago today, and it's playing out pretty close to that. Now, again, maybe it won't track similar to a Multiverse of Madness for the rest of the time. Maybe it'll have a big bump and a really good hold its third weekend for some reason. I don't really foresee that happening. I think that when it's all said and done, you're probably looking at $650 to $700 million worldwide at this point, which I never thought I was going to say before that opening weekend. But because that opening weekend disappointed, because that opening weekend came under where a lot of people projected it to, and because of the MCU drop we've been seeing in every fucking movie, you had to look at that opening weekend box office as a little bit disappointing. Unless you just love everything Marvel and don't want to take a critical eye and look at it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.